When Eddie sat at the door that first time, I thought something was wrong. "What are you doing there?" I whispered to myself. He couldn't see me. He couldn't hear my voice. But then Mikey walked into the room, and Eddie exploded with joy, jumping all over him like he'd been waiting his whole life for that moment. That's when I knew this little soul was something special. If you're still watching and haven't subscribed yet, I need you to know something. Stories like Eddie's don't get told enough. These are the moments that remind us what unconditional love really means. Hit that subscribe button because you're about to witness a bond that will change the way you see everything. The day I first saw Eddie at the local animal rescue, my heart broke and healed at the same time. Nobody really knows his true story, how this tiny creature ended up at the vet's office, abandoned and alone. But the staff knew immediately he was a special case. Deaf, blind, just a baby. Most people would walk past a dog like that, thinking he was too much work, too much responsibility. But when I met him, all I saw was the cutest, tiniest thing I'd ever laid eyes on. The night we brought Eddie home, chaos erupted in the most beautiful way. He ran at full speed into everything, walls, furniture, our legs. He had no idea where he was going, but he didn't care. His little personality shined through every stumble, every crash. He was the happiest dog I'd ever seen, despite living in a world of silence and darkness. "What are you doing on that box?" I laughed as Eddie climbed onto something he probably shouldn't have. And right then, in that moment, I knew he was ours forever. Not a foster, not temporary, ours. The beginning was tough, I won't lie. There was a massive learning curve for all of us. Eddie bumped into things constantly. We had to rearrange furniture, create safe spaces, learn how to communicate with a dog who couldn't see or hear us. But Eddie, he pushed through like a champion. He adapted faster than we ever expected. Mikey became Eddie's whole world. When Eddie's somewhere unfamiliar, he sits and cries until Mikey picks him up. It's the most heart-wrenching and heartwarming thing you'll ever see. At home, Eddie will sit on the couch, and Mikey will join him for cuddles. Then, out of nowhere, there's an explosion of excitement. Eddie's tail wagging so hard his entire body shakes. I developed a set walking route for Eddie. Once his harness is clipped on, he spins in circles with pure joy. I'm basically his human guide dog, his eyes and ears in a world he can't fully experience on his own. "Good job, buddy," I tell him after every successful walk, even though he can't hear me. I say it anyway, because love doesn't need sound. The connection between Eddie and Mikey is something I can't fully explain. Eddie's much more settled when Mikey's around. I tried taking Eddie to my parents' house for one night, and when it was time to leave, I couldn't say goodbye. He clung to Mikey like his life depended on it, and honestly, maybe it did. Even though Eddie's blind and deaf, his spirit to explore is unstoppable. He wants to discover everything, touch everything, be part of everything. Most dogs rely on sight and sound to navigate the world, but Eddie, he navigates with his heart. He feels his way through life with more courage than most beings ever will. Mike can sit on the couch doing nothing special, and Eddie will find him, climb onto his lap, and just melt into him. Next minute, there's pure joy radiating from this tiny creature who has every reason to be scared, but chooses happiness instead. I didn't really expect Eddie to change my life the way he has. When you adopt a special needs animal, people warn you about the challenges. They tell you about the extra care, the extra time, the extra everything. But nobody tells you about the extra love. Nobody prepares you for how a deaf and blind dog will teach you more about living fully than any self-help book ever could. Now, Eddie knows he's safe with us. "Am I a slave to you?" I joke when he demands attention, which is pretty much always. But the truth is, I'd be his slave forever if that's what he needed, because what Eddie gives back is immeasurable. Every day with Eddie is a reminder that disabilities don't define worth, that broken things can be the most beautiful things, that love doesn't need perfection, it just needs presence. When we walk together, I'm his compass, his security, his entire world condensed into the feeling of a harness and the warmth of a hand. He trusts me completely, even though he's never seen my face or heard my voice. That level of trust is sacred. Eddie's just such an incredible dog, definitely the light of our lives. On hard days, when everything feels heavy, Eddie reminds us what matters. He reminds us that joy is a choice, that love transcends limitations, and that the best things in life often come in the smallest, most unexpected packages. Some people might look at Eddie and see a disabled dog. I look at Eddie and see a teacher, a healer, a tiny miracle wrapped in fur. He's taught me that connection isn't about what you can see or hear, it's about what you can feel. Every morning when Eddie wakes up, he doesn't know it's morning, he doesn't see the sunrise or hear the birds, but somehow he knows Mikey is near, and that's all that matters to him. So here's what I want to know. Do you think animals like Eddie choose their humans, or do we choose them? Drop your thoughts below, because I genuinely believe Eddie chose us that day at the rescue, and our lives have never been the same. Eddie continues to explore his world every single day with bravery that puts most of us to shame. He's living proof that limitations are just stories we tell ourselves, and that with the right support, anyone can thrive. When he stumbles, he gets back up. When he's confused, he waits for guidance. When he's scared, he finds courage in the presence of those who love him. There are moments when I watch Eddie navigate a room he's been in 1,000 times, and I'm struck by how much trust that takes. He moves forward into complete uncertainty, believing that we've made the space safe for him, believing that if he falls, we'll be there to catch him. That kind of faith is rare, even among humans who can see and hear everything around them. This isn't just Eddie's story. It's a story about second chances, about seeing beyond the surface, about loving the broken pieces until they become whole. It's about a deaf and blind puppy who couldn't wait to see his dad, not with his eyes, but with his heart. It's about finding light and darkness, sound and silence, and proof that the strongest bonds are built on something far deeper than sight or hearing. Eddie reminds us every single day that love isn't something you see or hear, it's something you become. And in becoming that love for him, we discovered who we were always meant to be. He's shown us that vulnerability isn't weakness, that depending on others is strength, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply trust that you're loved. In a world that moves too fast and feels too loud, Eddie lives in quiet stillness, reminding us that peace isn't found in what we experience externally, but in who we experience it with.